Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the review of the Toyota Land Cruiser J200 series. And these Land Cruisers are in year ranges from 2008 through 2021. In 2002, a 5-year development plan on a successor to the 100 series platform commenced under Sadayoshi Koyari and Tsuya Tada. By 2004, 10 years after the design selection of its predecessor in 1994, a final production design was settled on for the 2008 J200s. Prototype-related tests were conducted over 2 years between 2004 and early 2007. The redesigned Toyota Land Cruiser was introduced in late 2007. Known as the 200 series, it shares the LX570s from Lexus's platforms and overall design. The frame was new, derived from the second-generation Tundra, but shortened and strengthened by 20%. Bigger brake rotors and calipers were added to the front suspension was strengthened. The underbelly was also protected by skid plates. The roof pillars were designed to better protect occupants in a rollover. The 200 series encountered some criticisms due to its bland body restyling, with some claiming that Toyota has overdeveloped the classic trademarked Land Cruiser identity in its effort to fit the Land Cruiser into modern 21st century motoring and vehicle design. The vehicle entered production in September 2007 and was available for sale from September or November, depending on the country. It became available in Venezuela for sale early November of the same year under the local nickname of Roraima, taken from Mount Roraima. In Japan, the Land Cruiser had an update in 2009 when it received the 4.6-liter V8 engine and the gearbox was replaced with a 6-speed automatic. Although the new 4608 FE is smaller than the old 4663 FE engine, the power has been increased from 284 to 314 horsepower. Torque increased from 330 to 339 pound-feet, and fuel consumption improved from 19 to 20 miles per gallon. In the Middle East, the Land Cruiser J200 series was introduced in late 2007 as a 2008 model. In Europe and Asia, the Euro 4 diesel within the 2007 through 2010 model had 286 horsepower. Starting in 2011, the 362 horsepower engine was offered along with the previous engine. For 2012, the One GRFE gained dual double VTI and power was increased to 274 horsepower. The 4.7 liter was dropped in favor of the new 304 horsepower 4.6 liter, and the 5.7 liter and 4.5 liter diesel were unchanged, although the latter was dropped in some markets. In North America, the Land Cruiser 200 series is offered with one trim level and engine, the 5.7 liter V8 petrol engine producing 381 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque channeled through a 6-speed automatic. Towing is rated at 8,200 pounds, and beige or black leather upholstery is standard along with a 14-speaker JBL sound system. The only wheel choice is 18-inch, allowing a lot of sidewall so the vehicle can be driven off road without modification through a more aggressive thread pattern that is advised for deep mud. For the 2013 model year, Toyota added all previously optional safety and luxury options as standard. The Land Cruiser now gets push-button start, HID headlights with beam level adjustment, a power moonroof, automatic rain-sensing windshield wipers, and heated and ventilated perforated leather front and only heated rear seats. A rear seat DVD entertainment system, Bluetooth, rear view camera with parking sensors, navigation system, HD, radio, and in tune. Another new feature is the multi-terrain select system, which helps control wheel spin and brake lockup, giving the selectable choices of rock and dirt, mogul, loose rock, and mud and sand, and with in addition to the multi-terrain select system, a feature known as adaptive anti-lock braking system, which adapts to the condition of the road like mud or sand and efficiently uses the ABS to reduce braking distance on any type of terrain. In Oceania, the 200 series is offered in 4 different levels of trim: GX, GXL, VX, and Sahara. In August 2015, Toyota launched an updated facelifted version of the J200 series Land Cruiser in Japan, which was later sold globally. This version first appeared in the United States in 2015 for the 2016 model year. The new version has several mechanical changes, including a new 8-speed electronically controlled automatic transmission known as the ECTI, mated to the original 5.7 liter V8 petrol engine, larger front disc brakes, and a higher axle ratio of 3.30 versus 1 and versus 3.90 versus 1 in the previous years. Updates to the front fascia, grille, headlamps with daylight running lamps, rail tail lamps, and bumpers were the main exterior highlights of the facelift. Interior changes including a new multimedia system and interface with larger screens front and back, as well as refreshed interior styling. In China, the Land Cruiser 200 was produced from 2008 to 2016 by Sichuan Fao Toyota Motors. The 4.0 liter V6 and 4.7 liter V8 were the available engine choices, both paired to a 5-speed automatic gearbox. Trim levels were the 4.0 GXR, 4.0 VX, 4.7 VX, and 4.7 VXR. In February 2019, Toyota introduced a heritage edition of the Land Cruiser at the Chicago Auto Show as part of the 60th anniversary of the introduction from the FJ40 series. Toyota has built 1,200 vehicles and they are only available as a 5-seater sold in the United States. Sales were expected to begin in the third quarter of 2019 for the 2020 model year. Moving on to the powertrain, unlike the global Land Cruisers, our Land Cruiser 200 series is offered with one trim level and engine, which is the 5.7 liter V8 engine that was producing 381 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque channeled through the options of 6-speed and 8-speed automatic, and they sound like this. Now, time for my story. Since my early childhood times, besides seeing the 60 series back in Haiti, in the USA I had seen a few J200s in both from this brand and the Lexus brand, alongside the 80 and 100 series. But I wasn't that much of a 2-row and 3-row SUV fanatic up until the 2020. In 2020, these Land Cruisers grew on me instantly. I described them as Toyota's family giants and the exemplary full-size flagship mainstream SUV. In June, I sat in the Heritage Edition as the highest impressive trim of this model. The roof rack and the bronze trim makes this model and the trim represent not only a special off-road matching vehicle, but to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Land Cruiser's history from the 40 series, as mentioned earlier. This took place at Plaza Toyota in Brooklyn, New York. I've also seen it again in October of that year when it was being sold sooner by November. Rewinding into July, I also saw a 2019 Land Cruiser Beige trim at Toyota Manhattan, in Manhattan, New York. Then by January 2021, I saw a black 2020 Land Cruiser pulled out of Bay Ridge, Toyota. Then I saw a 2018 model turn the corner of Bergen Street and Kingston in April 2021. 3 months after, in July 2021, I went to Haiti for the first time in 14 years. I saw a 2019 Land Cruiser, which was an undercover police vehicle with neon sirens with a full black armor body. This emergency response action happened in Haiti's capital of Port-au-Prince when we were exiting the Toussaint Louverture airport in a Nissan Caravan. Throughout the 3 weeks being there, I saw 2 white Land Cruisers as VXR trim levels with the extended bumper and side deployments, making them looking even cooler. Those were actually running in my hometown of Jacmel. Until August 21st, in the Dominican Republic, I witnessed 2 white Land Cruisers in the base trim levels. One at the parking lot at a restaurant where we stopped for breakfast, and another at the toll booth line on our way to Punta Cana. Zooming to the latest time I saw one of these was a white 2017 Land Cruiser running along Empire Boulevard. And then seeing these Land Cruisers and thinking about them makes me wish that they can cost less if these sales can be improved to continue production for these. Speaking of sales, in late 2020, Toyota spoke out to the USA that for 2021, it was the end of the Land Cruiser marketing and production.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
It was so disappointing that these flagship SUVs have to be limited, which also means that in my hometown of New York City, it is no longer easy to find in any dealerships locally, but the Lexus rivals the LX series. Now, here's my resolution. I want to make it very clear the J200 series Land Cruiser is still a capable off-roader despite being a decade old. It does everything you ask of it fairly well, including hauling your family during the week and all of your gear and off-road toys on the weekend. But when Toyota insisted on charging nearly $90,000 for a 10-year-old SUV and sales don't justify its existence, it should be no surprise that Land Cruiser is getting the axe. It also doesn't help that every J200 comes fully loaded from the factory, and you can find low mileage examples from 2018 going for 10 grand to 20 grand cheaper. It's just a modern SUV, but still growing up with some old school specs, just like the 4Runners in the recent generation, from earlier times until Toyota released their program of Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 by January 2018 and 2.5 by 2021. Now for the reason why it was discontinued by 2021. The J200s became the last available Land Cruiser in history because the sales for them were not succeeded, caused by its other full-size luxury competitors such as the Lexus LX570 and 600s, Range Rover, the Grand Wagoneer, GMC Yukon, Mercedes-Benz G-Class, and more. Those Land Cruiser rivals have more specialties than what Toyota didn't offer. More water depths, more horsepower with higher MPGs due to efficient new powertrains, and futuristic passenger amenities to increase comfort and entertainment. Let's not forget, those rivals are capable of making less body rolls and more stable handling too. As for Toyota, if the second-hand market isn't enough, internal competition from the 4Runner and Sequoia effectively make the Land Cruiser a completely obsolete SUV. That's because if you want an SUV from Toyota for camping and trail riding, the community favorite is most likely the 4Runner. If you're looking for a luxurious SUV from Toyota, but don't want to spring for a Lexus, the top trim Sequoia has you covered. As to those internal competitors, we now have the newest edition of the 2023 Sequoias that are now serving as Toyota's highest flagship SUV and as a Land Cruiser replacement, which also could take down the Tahoes and Yukons. And with its sister brand of Lexus, the LX600 is the most exemplary Land Cruiser that meets at least 90% of the expectations. Also, they are successors of the LX570s that were known to provide a few disappointments compared to Toyota's J200s. As of the summer of 2021, the LC300s were introduced after they were leaked in the second quarter of that year. Those LCs are the most rugged Land Cruisers with a massive grille front and a more gas-saving V6 engine. Those are the successors of the J200s, but aren't able to be imported into USA for sales due to the conflicts with the predecessors. So they are only available in the Middle East or other countries in the Eastern Hemisphere. What I worry most about with these 3-row full-size SUV is the legroom at the 3rd row seat. My height is over 6 foot tall, and as a tall occupant, I expect to have an affordable SUV with extended inches of legroom in the rear for long miles. In reality, based out of my aunt's house, there are so far 3 SUVs with 3-row seating. These cars are the 1998 Lexus LX470, 2008 Hyundai Veracruz, and a 2018 Audi Q7. I sat in each of them, and all 3 of them have cramped 3rd-row seats. The Lexus has a 27-inch space of 3rd-row seats. The Veracruz has 31 inches of last leg space, and the Q7 has 29 inches of its last row's legroom. None of which can make me enjoy the ride even with a few more passengers in the car for road trips. And the access to getting in and out is time-consuming on each. But if they had a bigger SUV like the Expedition or Sequoia, I would have taken those as a favorite car from them. But today, my favorite is the Audi Q7 regardless. Back to Toyota, Land Cruisers are still needed for every continent. I hope I get to ride or drive these SUVs as well. But the only Land Cruisers I rode in are the 70 series. Those are the LC76 wagons and the LC79 pickups at my native coast, Haiti, back in 2021. Those 70 series are the extremely impressive machines to conquer through the tough terrains of their country and with the highest ground clearance we need. Plus, their body structure is able to survive so much more than the 60 series with a thick sheet metal. Unfortunately, these could still be imported to the United States, but you cannot find them here until once in a long time, due to demands for a more luxury-oriented vehicle that America mostly wanted. On May 14th of 2022, I saw a 1990s J75 Land Cruiser fire truck at a classic car show in Industry City, Brooklyn, New York. The first 70 series Land Cruiser I had ever seen in the USA. As for the J200s, we can still honor them as a used mighty family vehicle regardless of its off-topic value to its brand. I could still count these as a better generation than the LC300's new edition due to their sleeker body shape and longer millimeters of wheelbase. But the VXRs and GXRs trims with the modified bumpers and side fenders are well liked. However, the ground clearance is lower than the base versions of these Land Cruisers in the USA. As for the Heritage Edition trims, they are well represented for their milestone mainly by the golden rims and roof racks for an excellent adventures. And let's not forget, the interior has the screens behind the front passenger and front driver seats. So for the rate of these cars, it's a 10 out of 10. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and still consider your thoughts on personally my favorite Toyota models, my favorite full-size SUV models, and yet the last produced Land Cruisers of the USA.
Bird Sky on the beat.
Say 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
She told my love that love. She talks out the coco. She want know the coco. Yeah, but I want to give you some love. She talks out the coco. She still want know the coco. Yeah, if money no dey, now wait till she get. She tell me say she got run away. She got run very far away. Yeah. As the rubber don't dey, the baby gone the mail. See the baby don't come again. You don't forget back in the days. I've been the beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you want make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow.
Say 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. Say 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow. 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
You see this life, no be so. I remember the month of December. No loving, no caring, no tender. You rejected my love cause I was broke. I've been the enter Okada. From me do matter straight to another. How I wish, say, you believe me. Back then in Bagwalada, those days in Junior Puja, you insisted you don't need me. Girl, I try everything to spend my life with you. Yeah, I've been there beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you one make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
If money no day, now wait till she get. Now so she say she go run away. She go run very far away. As the rubber don't day, the baby come the bell. See the baby don't come again. You don't forget back in the days. I've been the beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you one make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I've been the beg you to try. Reason with me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow. I be you one make a die. It no easy for me. If I don't get today, I go get them tomorrow.
Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. Say one for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow. One for the money, two for the dough, three for the shorty. Now I don't blow.
Funkilla. I go show you wonder what it wonderful. You no go believe wetin won't happen. No disturb us when the bed do won't catch you. It's like you dey sleep, but this one pass you. Banga. I think bed do just start bonjo. From your feet all over bonjo. With somebody that bonjo. Cause I'm feeling it in my soul. Something is changing right in your face. Change something they scratch. Don't be like jazz. Bye, bye, bye. Cause my mommy won't want to let me. I know one me person tell me say too lazy. Oluwa bona of leleni. As I dey hustle, that dey bad your ogun lazy. No go talk, say me I too lazy. Anywhere I go, mo lati pada sile mi. Cause my mommy won't want to let me. I go show you wonder what it wonderful. You no go believe wetin won't happen. No disturb us when the bed do won't catch you. It's like you dey sleep, but this one pass you. Banga. I think bed do just